he bring to the party? What did he bring to the show?
Like Ozzy, just an air of presence. You know, being there was almost like good enough. To see him sat in the corner of the dressing room, whatever he was doing, made me feel ever so happy to know that he was on our side against a good Man United side, a good Man United defence. But he was capable of doing all sorts of damage at any given point in the game. And I think he got through a couple of times and one hit Stepney's legs, flew over or whatever. But Shannon was always in with a shout on the day. Nice to have him around, sat in a corner of our dressing room.
At the end of the semi-final, you've won. You're all back in that dressing room, all down at the bath. What did he say?
It's all right getting there. Now we've got to do it. And that was as simple as that. It's all right to get there, but now we've got to go and win the game.
But every Southampton player who was there all remembers that one moment, what Mick Shannon said in that bath that day after the semi-final.
You can't believe it. The exaltation in that dressing room was unbelievable. And to say it and you look around, you think, why did he say that? Why did he say that? But you analyse it later when everything calms down, and it's correct.
Because you'd won nothing then, hadn't you?
No, it's all right getting there,
yeah.
But now we've got to go and win it. And then the realisation hits you that, hello, we've achieved something here. We've got to the final, and now the business had to be done of winning it, because all that, the 90 minutes previous, were of no use whatsoever. They don't remember losers in semi-finals or anything like that. They remember winners, and we went on to do that.
We've talked about all the other players and where they've gone, what they've done. Of course, the world knows what Mick Shannon's gone on to do. To have made such a success in a completely different career, that wouldn't surprise you of Mick Shannon, though, would it?
Not at all. His personality is profound. He knows exactly what he wants, and he will achieve it, come what may, on the park. Perfect gentleman off the park. Swears a little bit, but that's, you know, that's okay. That's Mickey Shannon. But deep down, he's a player's player. He's a club player, and he stayed at many years at Southampton, obviously, and wandered around the country to various clubs and what have you, and came back to Southampton eventually to sort of have another little spell there. And then when he obviously went on to racing, he knew a lot about horses. He had this vision, I assume, and he went on and strove for it and achieved both professions.
Because there's the air of him being very happy-go-lucky, but wow, you've got to be steely determined underneath it to score goals and to do what he does now.
Yeah, you wouldn't be aware of it as such until something went wrong or things weren't going a particular way. And boy, would he let you know then. You know, certainly in the football field that I'm totally aware of. I don't know about the racing scene. I can only imagine very similar. The things were going wrong, whether it was the manager, the captain, Ozzy, the rest of the players. He would make it known this isn't the way it's to be done. And there would be a good discussion after that, and it would soon level out and off we go, but at least that was a wonderful opinion.
Hughie Fisher was the sub that day, but his part in that whole FA Cup run is absolutely crucial, isn't it?
Tantamount. First game, Aston Villa at the Dell. Dreadful day, windy, blustery, 1-0 down, 1 minute to go. I remember it as though it was yesterday. The ball just came across on the edge of the box. I can't say Hughie strode up because he's a dapper little lad. Toddled up, swung his left leg, his dodgy leg, sorry Hughie, his left leg.
That was for walking in that one,
That was, yeah,
okay.
Exactly. And it flew in the back of the net, which earned us a draw. We then proceeded to go up to Aston Villa and after extra time destroyed Aston Villa. Hughie I was so pleased for him to be on the bench.
Because he had an injury and obviously made way in that side for the eventual 11.
Yeah, I think he was probably injured early on in the cup run, if you like, and lost his place somewhat, and then he started to become fit. Not 100%, and I suppose him and Laurie decided that best not risk him on the day because of his injury in case things happened, and there was only one substitute. So Laurie put him on the bench, and I'm pleased he went up with us to get the winner's medal because he deserved it as much as anybody because of that goal in the third round.
And where's Hughie now?
Hughie retired. He's been working in the licensed trade since he retired. I had a pub many years ago, and he was one of the guys who used to come around and say hello. And may I say, he hasn't changed from the day I met him to this present day. A wonderful, wonderful person.
Right, let's get to the big man himself, Laurie McMenemy. He had to pull the strings, bring you all together, and he really did. You know, from where you all came, he was the person behind it, guiding it all.
Yeah, very much so. A manager has a vision of a team and how he wants it to play. He disbanded the side when he first came there. They got relegated, unfortunately and tragically. But then he had to rebuild, and it was then down to the manager as to how he rebuilt it. And he plucked this one out, and he plucked that one out, and he put this one here, and he put that one there. And I can categorically say personally, as a personal opinion, that he was a fabulous man manager, because the players that we had in the side, from youth to experience to characters to quiet people, I don't think I could have managed them myself. They were a wonderful bunch of characters, and Laurie had to gel them, make them play, make them tick, spoke to the experienced players, picked their brains if you like, directed the younger players. So he had a big job to do, and he certainly did it for us.
But when you're starting to acquire all these people, you've got to be very committed, haven't you? You don't go into buying people half-heartedly, do you? Because your neck's on the line if you get it wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Fortunately for him, he didn't buy me. He got me on a free transfer, so he got a cheap one there. But thank you, Laurie, for doing what you did for me, because I'm sure the players did it for him at the end of the day. But no, he was committed. I mean, he's had a fabulous 12-year career at Southampton, which nobody can take away. Just looking at the stats, you cannot take that away from the guy.
Because it isn't only one team he built. He did it over and over again.
Yeah. And I think his little ploy was grabbing older players, along with a little bit of youth that he had at the club, to gel those into something. And it worked for him every time. Regrettably, when he moved to Sunderland, he tried the same sort of thing. And unfortunately for him, it didn't work, because if it had worked, being in his hometown of, Sunderland, he would have been a hero beyond reproach. But unfortunately, sadly, it didn't work. And I was disappointed for him in that way, that it didn't work. I would have loved for it to have happened for him.
So the morning of the FA Cup final, what was he like? What was he doing? Because you must have been looking at him, trying to get your cue off him about, how you're going to prepare yourself.
We got up the following morning. It was all nice and relaxed. We had the interviews at the various hotels. And the one thing we did notice, that how nervous the Man United players were. And Laurie was with us and not settling us down, we were okay, but running us through various things. On the coach, off to the game, we happened to hit somebody who just stumbled off the curb. And the guy spun around and everybody jumped up in great concern. Got to the ground, and Laurie was there to calm everything down, got the bus driver to go back and check that this man was okay, and to reassure the players, don't worry about it, lads, it's in hand. A pacifying sort of mode, if you like, of the manager. The message came back, hey fellas, the guy's okay, don't worry about it now, let's get on with it, let's think about it, let's do it. And so there was a nice reassuring sort of touch from Laurie, where there was a little bit of, not panic, but a crisis of some sort, which could have wrecked it for us. But all these little things put together by the manager and the way he handles people was a great thing for us. Even though you possibly weren't aware of it at the time, if you sit down and think about it, then you think, although we did it on the day, he was a big part of it. He got us ready for it.
One profile we need, and that is of the captain, Peter Rodrigues. Comes to the club, what's he like? What do you make of him?
Very lucky lad in one way, but we thought Southampton were doing him a favour, but in the end it turned out he did us a favour. I mean, I think he was captain for 3 years, and he was unbelievable. I mean, he was quick, still quick. He had his football brain there. He knew the game inside out, and he led from the front, really, to be honest. And he was exceptional for us. He really was. And You know, he wouldn't have wished for a better captain in the FA Cup final because, you know, as I say, he led the boys, he talked to them the right way, and superb player, he really was.
Because you were quite a hard lot. I mean, you're bubbly, vivacious, big characters. How on earth does a captain get hold of that lot?
Well, that gives him the credit again. I mean, you know, because let's be fair, we were Herberts, weren't we? Let's be fair. Me, Steely, and Shannon, and people like that. I mean, Mel Blythe wasn't the best to talk to either, but Pedro handled it, took it on board, and was fantastic. You know, and he really was. And as I say, he led from the front. He was superb, and he did his own job as well. He didn't just have got other people and say, well, you've got to do your job. We looked at him, and he was setting by example, doing his job. And I think that's where he got the respect from the players, because he could do his job as well, not just talk about it. He could do it. And a very fit guy, very fit. I say very quick, and you know, and could put his stick in, either put his foot in and give a little bit of stick about, and always encouraged. Did it the right way. You know, that's the main thing about Pedro, as we call him. He never really you know had a go at you big time, but he encouraged you. And when somebody encourages you, come on, mate, you made a mistake, come on, let's put this right, boom, and you try and put it right the next time, instead of saying, well, what's he on about? And your head goes down. But good captain.
Because he personally would have had one of the big battles, one of the big matchups in that FA Cup final.
Well, I always say, Andy, that the back five were the hub of our team. They really were. You know, we had Ian Turner in goal, we had Rodrigues, we had Mel Blythe, Steely, and Peachy. And I thought they won the game for us because they had some good guys up front. You know, Gordon Hill, Steve Coppell, I think, was playing up there. And you know, the guys like this. And you know, they had to do the job and then give us the chance to go and play and go and win the game. And that's what they did. You know, fantastic job.